I believe there comes a point in everyone's life that we all grapple with this particular question: what really brings me fulfillment? That's what I want you to wrestle with. What really brings you fulfillment? I don't know if it's based on age. I don't know if it's based on a particular stage of maturity, but I do know that we all get to a particular place and point in our life that that seminal question becomes a central theme. What really brings you fulfillment? I think finding fulfillment really speaks to you delving deep within your soul and seeing what is really the engine, what's really the pulse, what really captivates you and really wakes you up in the morning without an alarm clock. And that's what I really want to get into today: finding fulfillment, how to make purposeful progress. And I think one of the things that we have to ask ourselves is whatever it is that is pulling us, pushing us into our calling, is it based on a trend or is it for what it is that we're called to do? Because there are a lot of different people who only do something because it seems to be fashionable, because it seems to be trendy, because it seems as if everybody is doing it, but it's not really that which is compelling them. Doesn't really speak to the essence and the aura and the ingenuity of who it is that they are internally. And so they start one thing today, they end it tomorrow. When it seems as if the trend has died down, they die down simply because they have not found what it is that they are called to do. That's one of the questions that you have to ask yourself. Is what I'm doing based upon a trend or is it based upon what I'm called to do? Is it trendy or is it a calling? Because here's what I understand: a job is what you're paid for, but your calling and your purpose is what you're made for. And on the other side of procrastination is true fulfillment. For you to really fulfill that purpose, here's what you're going to have to do: you're going to have to take all the excuses off the table. You're going to have to brush off the table. You're going to have to get off the negative thoughts in your mind of all the reasons why it won't work. And you've got to make up in your mind to say, either it works or it works. It has to work or it has to work. There's no in between right here. I'm going for what it is that I am called to do. This is not a trend. This is a particular calling. And somebody's waiting for you to become who you are so they can become who they're supposed to be. Here's the question to you: how much longer will you make them wait? How much longer will you delay the fulfillment of what it is that you need, what it is that the giant on the inside of you is begging for you to stand up so that you can exercise in your gift and in your calling, so that you can really find out what it is that is your place of purpose? Secondly, one of the things that we have to ask ourselves when we're seeking to find fulfillment, when we're on this avenue towards greater opportunity, when we're on the boulevard toward a breakthrough, one of the questions that we have to ask: is this money driven or is this mission driven? Yes, I'm dealing with, is it trendy? Is it a trend or is it a calling? But is this money mission? Is this money minded or is this mission minded? What is this? particular thing based on? Am I all about the money, or is it about the mission that comes with it? Here's one thing that I understand about money. Money does not precede purpose. Money chases purpose. Purpose doesn't have to chase money. Money is always chasing purpose, simply because purpose is going in the direction of trying to improve other people's life, of trying to get better, of trying to grow, trying to do what you've never done before, to go where you've never gone before. Money is a byproduct of walking in purpose. Too many people are chasing money and they're not chasing the mission. When you chase the mission, the money's going to chase you. When you go after vision, provision is going to come as a result of that. And a lot of people are looking for a payday. They're looking for the opportunity to make more money. But are you specifically focused on the mission? Because finances do not replace fulfillment. It's a whole bunch of people who are making a lot of money, but they don't even love what they're doing. They don't even feel the commitment, the call, and the compassion for what it is that they're doing. They understand that it's specifically money driven, but it's not mission driven. But then there are those of us who may not necessarily be making all of the money, but you're connecting it all to the mission. And you understand that your needs, your wants, what it is that you desire in life is going to be provided for, simply because you are following after the mission, not after the money. Finances never replace fulfillment. And when I'm fulfilled, the finances will eventually come as a result. What is it that really speaks to the aspect and the capacity of the fulfillment of where it is that you're trying to go? Fulfillment. Can't spell fulfillment without the word feel. What are you filled with? Are you filled with ingenuity? Are you filled with peace? Are you filled with purpose? Are you filled with ideas that become income? Are you filled with contacts that become contracts? Are you filled with the greatness of what it is and who it is that you are on the inside, so that you can perpetuate that, and so that you can permeate that on the outside? Got to understand, is it trendy as a call, or is it a calling? Is this money focused, or am I mission minded? And then last but not least, does the impact create a ripple effect? Does the impact produce a ripple effect? An impact that you're making ought to cause a ripple effect to take place in the lives of other people. Other people ought to be able to feel the greatness, feel the power, feel the joy and the peace and the increase and all the witty ideas and the inventions based upon how it is that you're empowering other individuals. It comes from the whole aspect. Leaders don't just create followers. Leaders create other leaders that follow them. I'm not just trying to move into a particular place to make people subservient to me. No, I want them to produce what it is that's on the inside of them. And based upon what it is that you have produced, based upon what it is that I have produced, it ought to empower other people to produce as well. It ought to create a ripple effect. When you're throwing a rock into the lake, when you're throwing a rock into the ocean, when you're throwing a rock into a river, into some form of a body of water, notice what takes place is that there is a ripple that transpires. It's not that nothing else is affected by it. Everything else that is around that particular rock in that specific sphere and environment is affected by that. What am I doing to affect people positively? What am I doing to produce a ripple effect that now impacts other people to say, listen, I got to produce. I have to produce and be of use. You producing your book ought to empower somebody else to produce a book. You producing music should empower somebody else to produce music. You producing speeches, you producing businesses and opportunities and different avenues and open doors and witty inventions and ideas ought to empower somebody else to say, if you did it, I can do it too. If they did it, you can do it too. If they did it, I can do it too. Finding fulfillment causes you to replicate yourself. Not that somebody has to be a clone of you, but somebody learns from you and says, I'm inspired by what it is that you did. That's what makes purposeful progress. That's what makes progress so meaningful. That's what makes fulfillment so delightful. Fulfillment is not in money, cars, and clothes, and shoes, and all of the accoutrements that are taking place that we're experiencing on the outside. No, fulfillment is about true peace and true increase and true growth and true development, developing your emotional intelligence, moving into a place of maturational development, healing the internal issues and the wounds, finding wisdom from your wounds. That's what true fulfillment is about. And that's why I wrote this book, Know Your No. If you're going to move into a place of fulfillment, there are some things that you have to say no to that are stifling and stopping you from walking in your calling, from pursuing your purpose. Know your no, how to build healthy boundaries and love without losing yourself. Why don't you go ahead and get this book right now? It's available on Amazon. It's available on my website, which is EddieConnor.com/know your no. That's where I will sign copies of this book for you, and they will be mailed to you. Get a personalized copy from me for the book Know Your No. And of course, I just got to read a little bit something from the book to empower you. Yeah. How about that? I'm going to read a little something from the book, from a little passage from the book. And I hope that you go ahead and get it. Available on Amazon, available my website, EddieConnor.com/know your no. When you are intent on being proactive, you develop your ideas and ideals. Being proactive means I'm not letting things happen. I'm not waiting for things to happen or asking what happened. A proactive person makes things happen. To be proactive highlights the prefix pro, which means before, meaning you think before you act, to process and think beforehand. It is about being metacognitive and thinking about what you're thinking about. Being proactive means thinking before you act. Sadly, common sense is uncommon. You have to replace procrastinating with prioritizing. Be proactive at your job. Be proactive with your assignments. Be proactive in your connection to God. Be proactive in your spiritual development. Be proactive with your emotional intelligence. Be proactive with your relational intelligence and spiritual intelligence. When God is your guide, you are able to build safeguard boundaries. All of us must ask ourselves, am I causing problems or solving problems? That's what we have to ask. And there's so many other questions that are really going to spark you to eventually and finally say yes to yourself by saying no to what hinders your growth. Once you get my book right now, Know Your No. It's going to be a tremendous blessing to you. I'm telling you right now, buckle up that seatbelt. Buckle up your seatbelt. Yeah, hold on, because it's going to be a ride for sure when we are delving into this book. Soar with me into my Eagles community. My Eagles community is where I empower you to soar into greater success and purpose, the mentoring, the empowering, how I speak life into your life. Be a part of my mentoring and coaching circle, and my community. All you have to do to be a part of it, go to theeaglesacademy.com, theeaglesacademy.com. When you get there, tap the Join Now button, fill out the form. I guarantee you're going to be transformed. Hit that like button on this video. Hit the subscribe button. That would really, really be a tremendous advantage and a tremendous blessing if you would help out and grow my channel. Really appreciate that. Share this with somebody. I want you to know it's yours truly, Dr. Eddie, your main man, 100 grand. Your brother from another mother. Family has been fun, but brother got to run. So I want you to know it's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure. But I want you to remember to keep the faith and believe it's going to be bigger, better, brighter. Peace and a whole lot of love. Keep soaring higher. Go ahead and get your hands on my new book, Know Your No. It's all about how to build healthy boundaries and love without losing yourself. Boundaries are not limitations. Boundaries are for liberation. You're going to find a way to unbox yourself. You're going to find a way to really love yourself and to move into a place of emotional regulation, to stand your ground, to draw a line in the sand, stand 10 toes down on it. Don't do the electric slide. Don't moonwalk away from it, but really stand wholeheartedly down on what it is that you say. It's for your protection. It's for your self-care. Moves you into a greater place of self-awareness and emotional regulation and developing your mental health and creating boundaries so that you can abound to a new and a greater level. Go right now to get a signed copy at EddieConnor.com. EddieConnor.com. And then, of course, you can also get it on Amazon. Go and get the book right now.